بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from all of us coming here to learn the language of the noble Quran. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us sadqa jariyah for our parents and make our children sadqa jariyah for us. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us tawfiq to learn the language of the noble Quran and then teach others. Ameen ya Rabbi. I welcome you, my respected sisters, to today's class. I hope everybody is doing well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you in knowledge. If you all are able to hear me loud and clear, please give me some feedback in the chat window. And as you know, the host for giving feedback is your answers. Please write here. Inshallah, we'll start the class soon. Right, moving forward towards our lesson. Today we will be doing inshallah chapter 5. This is going to be very easy lesson. There is a little twist in that, but that is going to be very beneficial inshallah. So this is once again same chapter, Ismul Fa'il wal Ismul Maf'ul. The difference, what's the difference between it? If we have studied, why are we doing this chapter again? It's a new chapter coming with the same title, right? So up till this point, when we have seen Ismul Fa'il and Ismul Maf'ul, we saw all the verbs which were sound verbs. There was no weakness in them. There was no letter from huruful illa in that. So there was no alif, there was no waw, there were no ya. All were there salim verbs. I hope everybody understands what is salim, what is sound, and what are weak verbs. This is something we've done many, many times. So in this lesson, in this chapter, we will see how what little changes occurs in Ismul Fa'il's pattern, or when you are making Ismul Fa'il from the verb which has got some kind of weakness. It's going to be inshallah very easy, but like in many different places, in many different things we have seen, there are two ways of learning. One is you go step by step. Another is you straight jump to the answer. Learn the answer first if there is quite many steps involved, because if you start learning steps at the first point, then it will take longer for you to get hold of the steps and then give the answer. So, some people have this quality of doing mental maths. Other people, if you ask them 10 plus 62, they will be writing on the piece of paper, oh, it's 72. So they will add one and then something else, and then they will take the remainder and then they will carry the number and then they will add it. But few people, many people, you will find they've done enough practice. You tell them 10 plus 50, there's a 60. 60 plus 32, there's a 90. They're not thinking. They are thinking, but while they're answering, they are thinking. Many other people, actually, they need either a calculator or they need a piece of paper. So this particular subject, this particular topic, we want to do it like people do mental maths. We want to understand, we will understand it later. But first, we will just know what is the answer, because the answer, the result is very easy, very simple. So why put yourself through difficult steps and then come to the answer? So first you know the answer, then we will do the steps, but then the steps will be just coming as an additional tool. You will already know the answer, even if you don't know the step. So inshallah, we'll try to keep it easy, bismillah ta'ala. So here's the lesson. Lesson number 5. Ad-Darsul Khamisu, the fifth lesson. What's the title? في مكتب مدير معهد اللغة العربية. In the office of the principal of the Institute of Arabic Language. يسمع طرق على الباب. A knock is heard on the door. يسمع. What kind of verb is that? Can anybody tell me? We have studied sami'a yasma'u, but here ya has got a dhamma, and the second last letter has got a fatha. Well done. This is majhul. This is a passive verb. And where is the file? Tarkun is the file, right? If you if Tarkun is the file, please press 1. If Tarkun is not a file, please press 2. Then you have to find out where's the file. Maybe Alal Babi is the file, then press 1 if you think Tarkun is the file. And if you think no, file is hidden somewhere, our eyes cannot see, but our mind can see, please press 2. Well done, sisters. The file, neither our mind can see nor our eyes can see because there's no file here. Because in the verbs which are passive, it's written here, there's no file, rather there is a naibul fa'ili, which used to be maf'ulun bihi, but after the introduction of the verb, passive verb, it became naibul fa'il. I hope you remember that. Moving forward. يدخل شاب ويسلم. A young man, youth, enters and says greeting, salam. So where is Ismul File? On this slide, anything yellow is Ismul File. So Shabun, how is this Ismul File? Very simple. What was our method for making Ismul File? Add alif at the second position. Add alif between fa kalima and ain kalima. If the verb was kataba, add alif, it'll become katibun. If the verb was qatala, add alif, it'll become qatilun. Likewise, what is the word? Shabba yashubbu. It means to grow young. And the one who grew young is called shabun. So, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And upon you be the peace and Allah's mercy and blessings. Atalibun jadidun anta. Are you a new student? So the shab, the young man, is saying, La ana zairun. The young man says, No, I am a visitor. But this zairun is marked with yellow. How come this is the spelling? Because we know there's a spelling, Zara, and what's the mudare? Zara yazuru. But we have just discussed a while ago, qatala add alif, qatilun. Kataba add alif, katibun. Jalasa add alif, jalisun. So why there is Zara, why it is Zairun? This is what we are going to learn. Because this verb Zara is ajwaf, meaning hollow verb. In other words, the middle letter in that is a weak letter. So when you make ismul fa'il from a weak letter, then there is a small chain. Let's learn this small chain. Steps will keep coming, inshallah. Every time you get a verb which is ajwaf, zara, what is the method of making ismul file? We have simply learned add alif. So if it was qatala, we would have added alif, and qatilun. Kataba, add alif after kaf, katibun. Here as well you will add alif. But the thing is, when you will add alif, the original alif will change into hamza, will change into Hamza. There is another thing which we have already studied, that when the verb has got a weak letter, ajwaf verb which has got alif, then that alif is not asli. That alif which is coming in mudare, it is actually waw, or is it's actually ya. We have studied that, but we will do it once again. Don't worry about it. For now, I just want you to remember one thing, only one thing. If you find a verb which is an ajwaf and somebody asks you to make ismul fa'il, what you will do is you will simply add alif as per the formula of your ismul fa'il. So effectively, after in qala, after qaf, you will add one more alif. But then the second alif, which is the original ain kalima, you will change that into hamza. So zara will become zairun, qala will become qailun, ba'a will become ba'iyun, sama. You see, sama. Sama will become saimun. Nama will become naimun. Khafa will become khaifun. This is all. If you understood that, then a lot of content of today's lesson you've understood. Is it easy, sister, or difficult? Forget about what are the steps. Why is this happening? Why alif is going and hamza is coming? We will attend that later on. First, just get hold on to this. Every time you see a three-letter verb which is ajwaf, you will simply change the middle letter into hamza, and according to the formula, you will add alif after the first letter. Is it clear, sisters? I just want to know you are clear about this point. I'm not talking about anything, no steps, nothing here. Simply Zara Zairun, Qala Qailun, Ba'a Ba'irun. I hope it is clear, sisters. Alhamdulillah. So he's saying La Ana Zairun. No, I am a visitor. So the head teacher is saying Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome. Ijlis. Sit here. Min aina anta? Where are you from? Ashabu. So the young man is saying, Ana min Pakistan. I am from Pakistan. أنا محاضر في معهد اللغة العربية بلاهور. I am a lecturer in the Institute of Arabic Language in Lahore. جئت حاجا. What's the meaning of جئت? Who can tell me? I left, isn't it? It means I left, right? If you think I left, please press 1. If you think not I left, press 2. It is the opposite of I left. It is I came. Jitu hajjan. Jitu is what? Verb and the doer. What is this hajjan? It is a hal. How is he coming? In what condition is he coming? Why is he coming? Not, it's not a why, but why is he coming? Why did he visit? As a pilgrim. So this is a hal. فاغتنمت فاغتنمت هذه الفرصة لزيارة معهدكم الشهير. I came as a pilgrim, so I seized this opportunity to visit your famous institution. قيل لي. What kind of verb is that? Passive, isn't it? قيل لي. I was told. Who told him? We don't know. قيل لي إنه أحسن مهد للتعليم اللغة العربية لغير الناطقين بها. I was told it is the best institution for the teaching of Arabic language for, for its non-speakers. So basically for the people who are not the native speaker of Arabic language, that institute is the best institute. So natiqina. Natiqina, what is the verb? Nataqa yantuqu. What is the small file? Nataqa is the verb. Simply add natiq. Why it is coming as natiqin? Because it is a plural. So you see, we have seen ismul file could be singular, ismul file could be dual, and ismul file could be plural. It was originally natiquna. Why has it become natiqina? Because it is coming as mudaf ilayh. So when it is marfu, we know it will the jama muzakkar salim will show the sign of rafa, the i'rab of rafa by wow. But if it is mansub or majroor, then this wow will be changed into ya. So he's saying فأحب أن أطلع على مناهجه وكتبه. So I love to know its curriculum and its books. So an attaliya is masdar muawwal. An, and after that a fail mudari is coming. And also it is playing the role of maf'ulun bihi. We have seen that before, that masdar muawwal can play the role of fa'il. It can also play the role of maf'ulun bihi. Al-mudiru, the teacher, head teacher saying, marhaban bika. You are welcome. Masmuka, what is your name? Ashabu, the young man. He's saying, Ismi Mahdi ibn Abdul Hadi. Usually we will see Hamza here, Ibnu, right? Son of. But we have studied that if there are two names coming and those two names have the relationship of father and son, then their Hamza will be deleted. Usually as well, we don't pronounce this Hamzatul Wasl when it is sandwiched between two words. But in this particular situation, we have discussed that thing before. I hope you remember that. If the two names, they have a relationship of father and son, then this Hamzatul Wasl, which comes before this Ibn, that will be omitted altogether in the speech and in the writing. Al Hadi, this Hadi is marked with what? It is marked with yellow color, so it's Ismul Maf'ul, Ismul Fa'il. What verb is that? Hada Yahdi. So you have Hada, you simply added one word, but it should be Hada. How it become Hadi? because we have just said every time you will see alif coming in the verb, that alif is not asl. Either it's a waw or it's a ya. But that we will do in a little bit time. But just understand al hadi is coming from hada yahdi, and this is ismul fa'il. So the teacher saying يدرس في معهدنا دارسون من معظم بلاد العالم. Students from most of the countries of the world are taught in our institutions. So darisuna, once again, the verb was darasa yadurusu. Here it is given. If darasa, if I want to make a small file, I will say darisun. But if I want to make the plural, what will I do? I will add wav and noon. As we've seen, this is the pattern fa'iluna. So this is dari suna. So this small file is basically plural of singular darisun. Is everybody clear, sisters? If not, please let me know. Alhamdulillah. يتراوح عددهم بين 450 و500. Their number ranges between 450 to 500. So يتراوح means ranging, varying. هذه نسخة من المناهج. This is a copy from the curriculum. ومدة الدراسة فيه سنتان. And the duration of the course in it is 2 years. هذه نسخة من المناهج. This is a copy from the curriculum. وهي هدية لك. So he's giving him as a gift, and it is a gift for you. وهذه بعض كتبنا. And these are some of our books. Now here, the same word coming, which we saw here, hada yahdi, and we said that ismul fa'il will be made by making alif. So we added alif, but we then said it was hada originally. Why it is coming as ya? And we said we will look into it in a while. So here we will see one more thing. Hada yahdi. This is your word, hada yahdi. Now this on this slide, this page, anything turquoise is ismul maf'ul. So mahdiyun, how come it became mahdiyun? What is the formula for ismul maf'ul? Add meme in the beginning, waw before the second last letter. So if I take hada, I will add meme before this, and then I will add waw before ya. So what is happening? It should be mahadawiyu. You see, this is difficult, can't pronounce mahadawiyu. What is this go happening? So to make the pronunciation easy, certain things have happened in that. But we will wait for those things to come in a proper fashion with a lot of examples, so we can do that. For now, understand Mahdiyun is the Ismul Maf'ul, means the one who has got the Hidayah. Al-Hadi is the one who gives the Hidayah. Mahdiyun is the one who received the Hidayah. Like Qatilun is the one who killed, and Maqtulun is the one who got killed. I hope it is clear, sisters. But here, just remember and understand this is what its actual Ismul Maf'ul's formula is. But because this verb has got a weak letter in it, hence the treatment is getting a little bit different, and we will see that inshallah. أين يمكنني شراء هذه الكتب? Where it is possible for me to purchase these books. So المدير هذه الكتب لا تباع. These books are not sold or not for sale. يمكنك الحصول عليها مجانا من مركز شؤون الدعوة. It is possible for you to get this free from the Center of Affairs of Invitation. Sha'nun is the singular. Shu'unun is the plural. Now, shu'un, this affairs, you will see this word can use with many things. There are departments in universities where there is a department for the affairs of students. Any idea what that would be called? Shu'unut tullabi. Very simple. يدخل ساق ويصب لهما القهوة. or يدخل ساق ويصب لهما القهوة. The pourer, coffee carrier, enters and pours the coffee for both of them. What's the verb for pouring? Saqa yasqi. Saqa yasqi. Now, if you look at this one, saqin. Ideally, it should be saqi. After sin, you add alif and then you bring whatever it is after that as it is, like in the case of kataba, katibun, qatala, qatilun. Jalasa, jalisun. But what's happening here? You have seen, okay, fair enough. It's from the original verb. Alif is coming. Very good. Our formula is being implemented here. Qaf is coming. Fair enough. But then there's no alif coming here. This is alif, right? We all know this is alif. Alif can be written as a straight line or alif can be written like a ya. So this is alif. But here it is saqin. Where is the ya gone? Inshallah, we'll see that. Mahdiyun. So Mahdi is saying, أدعوك لزيارة معهدنا. I invite you to visit our institution. هذه بطاقتي. This is my business card. Now, بطاقة means card. It can be used in different settings in different ways. So if somebody is handing somebody over their business card, it will also be called bitaqa. If somebody, like in many countries, there's a residence card, that is also has the same name, bitaqa. So basically, it means card, and then it is changed according to business or residence card or any other card according to the context of it. هذه بطاقتي وفيها عنواني وعنوان المعهد. This is my business card and it has my address and address of the institution. المدير. So the head teacher saying, أنا مدعو لحضور مؤتمر في باكستان بعد أشهر. I'm invited to attend a conference in Pakistan after a few months. Now this مدعو is turquoise. It tells us that this is ismul maf'ul. What is happening? What was the actual word? Let's come here. The actual word was da'a yad'u. Now, if you want to put da'a yad'u on the pattern of ismul maf'ul, now we are starting to understand the steps, sisters, right? So far, we have just done it on the surface level. Now we are going a little bit into the steps, so please pay attention. We know from long time that every time you will find a weak letter in the verb, that alif as a weak letter, if the alif is coming in the weak letter, then that alif is not the original. It is either wow or it was ya, but it was changed into alif because of some morphology based reasons. We will see inshallah more, but I don't really want you to get confused in that, because if we go into the very much nitty gritty, it would mean that we are actually learning ilm sarf, which we are not. The book is introducing these things, so you get an idea, you get an understanding, but you really don't have to go into ibdal and taskeen. However, we have done that in previous levels. The idea then was so that you have an idea about these things, but moving forward we will try to refrain from getting into those terms, so to keep things simple for everybody. However, we will see what is happening here. So da'a was actually wow. Now somebody may say, how will I know? Somebody may say, you know what you said, if there's an alif in fi'l madi, it could be either wow or it could be ya. So the next question would be, how a student would know if alif is coming in da'a, this is going to be wow or this is going to be ya? Because if you see the word ba'a, that's alif is actually ya. But here, that alif da'a is actually wow. Same, if you look at the word qala, the alif of qala is actually wow. So how would you know that? Very, very simple and very, very easy. There are two places you have to look and you will find that. First of all, you will look at the mudare, you will look at the present tense, because present tense will not bring this alif of madi into uh, alif from the past tense into present tense. You will never see this alif going into yadu. However, there is a possibility, we'll come to that as well. So when you saw this alif, now you want to find out, you are curious, it is wow or it is ya. And why are you curious? You are curious because of these things, because you have to make ismul file, because you have to make ismul maful, because you have to make ismul zaman, because you have to make ismul makan. So you need to know what is the actual letter. because that actual letter will be used over there. So now you looked at the mudari. In this case, alhamdulillah, you found that waw is the original letter. So now when you will make ismul fa'il or ismul maf'ul, you will consider this waw as your actual base letter, not this alif, right? There are two ways of doing it. In this situation, you can simply ignore the past tense and you go to the present tense, change this ya into meme. So your first step of ismul maf'ul can be achieved. There are two steps in making ismul maf'ul, right? Adding meme in the beginning and waw as the second last letter. So let's say you come to yad'u and you change this ya into meme. So it'll become mad'u, then you added another waw. So then what happened? It became mad'uun. So now there are two waws coming. So what is the writing rule? The writing rule is if there are two identical letters that are coming, then the assimilation will happen, idgham will happen, and they will be written with tashdid. So here it is, you got mud'uun. You see, I hope it is clear. I can see from some messages and I can understand that there's a little bit confusion. Up till this point, we have seen that we were making ismul fa'il using past tense. I just told you you can use present tense as well if you like. But if this is confusing you, then come back to past tense. The only reason for us to use present tense is because this alif in this past tense is not asli. If you look at the past tense here, you may make a mistake because you will just consider this alif. You don't know it is waw or ya. So for that, you anyway need to find out whether it was waw or ya. So isn't it better that instead of going to find out what is this waw, this alif is waw or ya, and then bringing this waw here and then adding meme before that and then adding another waw so that you can have the formula of ismul maf'ul, you can leave the past tense out of the equation when you are dealing with the ismul fa'il for the weak verbs. Once again, I'll repeat that. In very recent past, for the verbs like kataba, qatala, let's take these two examples. We don't look at the mudari, we don't look at kataba yaktubu, so the ya will be changed into meme and then we will add waw before ba. We don't say for qatala, okay, let's go to yaqtulu and then delete the ya and then put meme instead, and then in the end put the lam. What do we simply use? What do we do? We simply stick ourselves to past tense. We add meme as the first letter and waw as the second last letter. We are done. But that is okay if you have a verb which is a sound verb. With the weak verbs, the problem is whatever alif you are looking at in past, whether it is written like this straight alif or whether it is written like this ya in the case of hada, this is not actual. If you want to add, if you want to apply this ismul maf'ul formula of meme in the beginning, waw is the second letter, if you will do here, what's going to happen is your answer will become wrong. You will have mudu uwa, mudu'uwa with alif will be coming, which is incorrect because this alif is not alif, this is wow. So your spelling will be wrong, your verb will be wrong. So let's summarize that. If you have a verb which is ajwaf or which is a weak verb, you better look at the fi'lul mudare to actually find the root letters. So you get the root letter from here. So you know that this alif is the waw. And now you can stick to this past tense and you change this alif into waw and then you can make ismul maf'ul. This is one method. What's the second method? Second method is easy. What is the second? Second one is in case of these kind of verbs, ignore the past tense and go to mudari, go to present tense. Now here, this ya is what? What is this ya, sisters? Who can tell me? I would like to remove this ya from here. But can I remove it? What is this ya doing? Can anybody tell me what is the name of this ya? Because I simply need to remove it from here. So can I remove it? Is it something removable? Yes, it is removable. Why? Because this ya is from anif. This is the sign of mudare. So when the present tense verb we are talking about, we are presenting present tense verb, then we need this ya or noon or hamza or ta, right? These are, I need four letters which shows that the verb is mudari. Here we want to make ismul maf'ul, as the noun suggests. Ism, it's a noun, it's not a verb. So we don't need this ya. This ya is redundant for us now because it is for mudari and we are not dealing with mudari. We want to make ismul maf'ul. So you simply delete this ya, or in other words, delete harful mudari and add meme here. So your formula starts applying here. You add meme here. So you got mud, meme with a dhamma and dal sukun. And then your third letter here is ain. So you wrote ain. And then you have to bring a wow. Which waw? This waw is coming from the formula of Ismul Marful. So then you have meme and the mud, and then ain, and then waw from the formula of Ismul Maf'ul, and then you have original waw coming in the verb, which used to be alif in Madi, but now we know it is waw in Mudare. So what is the result? The result is mud'un. So instead of writing it like that, this waw was assimilated into the another waw and you write it together mud'un. I Is it clear, sisters, or is it confusing? If it is confusing, I am really sorry. This is what surf is. Surf takes time to sink in. You need to practice a lot with the surf. This is why I try to do, whenever we are doing the surf, I don't take you into any areas where there is a lot of ifs and buts are there, and rather try to give you Bismillah ta'ala the simplest method. But certain things, of course, require some practice. But the good news is, in this lesson, in this chapter rather, we have so many words and so many practices. Once we are done with this chapter, I am confident that inshallah you'll be very happy and you will say, everything is fine. So let's move forward. So المدير أنا مدعو لحضور مؤتمر في باكستان بعد أشهر. I'm invited to attend a conference in Pakistan after a few months. سأنتهز هذه الفرصة وأزور معهدكم إن شاء الله. I will seize this opportunity. So this word also has got the similar meaning. I will seize this opportunity and visit your institution if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills. Azuru, what is this Hamza doing here? Who can tell me what's the name of this Hamza and what's the meaning? Very good. This Hamza is harful mudari. This is only attached when the verb becomes present tense and it represents me, first person, speaker. What is the original verb? Zara yazur. Now you see, sisters, this is Zara. It is ajwaf, isn't it? Alif is coming in the middle, but alif is not the asl. What's the asl? You can find that in the mudari. It's yaduru. It's yaduru. Look at this one. Hada yahdi. We said that alif is not asl. This written like ya, but it is alif. Pronunciation hada. In mudare, it is becoming yahdi. So now we know this alif in hada is a ya. This alif in da'a is a wow. I hope it is clear. And if it is not clear, inshallah, it will become clear with the repetition. Don't worry about it. So as-saqi, the coffee pourer. أَصُبُّ لَكَ مَزِيدًا مِنَ الْقَهْوَةِ يَا شَيْخُ. Should I pour for you more from the coffee or more coffee, O scholar? So Mahdi is saying La wa shukran, no and thank you. Now, what is this? La wa shukran. We have seen something like that before. So let's quickly do that. Somebody offers you something. You don't want it. What will you say? No, thanks. That's what the English style is, right? How will you say if you want to say it in Arabic? La. La shukran jazakallah khair. Isn't it? Is that right? So you're saying no thanks, and then you're giving them dua. In English, you could say no thanks. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. If you translate that into Arabic, press 1 if I'm saying correct, press 2 if I'm saying wrong. And please pay attention. Don't just jump to 1 and 2. So I should say la wa jazakallahu khairan. I will add wow between la and jazakallahu khairan. If I'm wrong, please press 1. If I'm right, please press 2. Why am I adding wow? Very good. Because if we don't add wow, then what will be the meaning? The meaning will be no, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not bless you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not reward you. So you simply are adding la with jazakallahu khairan. So you are turning the dua into a negative sense, into a negative sense. Rather, you should keep two things separate. No, and then you use the word and. So exactly here, this is what is done. La wa shukran. If he would have said la shukran, means I don't thank you. How is this possible? Somebody is asking him that shall I give you that, and he would say no, no, thank you. But in Arabic, you should know, and then you add the word and then say thank you. Otherwise, it could become, in terms of meaning, mistaken meaning. أستأذنك الآن يا فضيلة الشيخ. I seek your permission now to leave. Alif, Sin, and Ta. Last time when we were doing, and before that as well, some Mazid Fihi, looking at the examples, we saw that there are Mazid Fihi, there is a type of the form, a verb form where Alif, Sin, and Ta, three letters are added. You remember last time when we have done form 2, we only added one letter, and that letter basically was the Ain Kalima, which we made it double, and we put the Shadda. Fa'ala, Sarrafa, Jahaza, Kassara. You remember that, sisters? Nazzala. But this is another form. It is called form 10. We will come to that, inshallah. In this particular form, you don't double your Ain Kalima, rather, you add three letters before that: Alif, Sin, and Ta. So, Ghafara, you add three: Staghfara, to seek forgiveness. Kharaja, Stakhraja, to extract something. Here is seeking permission. What is the original verb? Adina ya'dhanu. What's the meaning? To permit or to listen. But here it is in the sense of permit. So it's permission. Adina ya'dhunu. Now it's to permit, but he is not permitting the head teacher. Rather, he is seeking. He is asking for the permission. So alif, sin, and ta was used. So you see this verb adina means to permit, but by adding alif, sin, and ta, how the meaning changed? So the meaning did not change its meaning, but it changed its shade. Somebody may say fa'ala, pattern fa'ala, we say that it's takthir. It adds more emphasis, intensity, but sabbaha means to glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas if you take the tajdeed out, it means he swam. So how is this possible? Yes, it is possible. The mazid fihi verbs, when you add some letter to the verbs, it sometimes can change the meaning as well. But many a time it will just change the shades of the meaning. It will add talab, it will add uh, shidda onto it, or it will make it from muta'addi to lazim. We have studied transitive and intransitive a little bit, but don't want to go into the detail, but it can do that. So jalasa means he said. But if you add hamza before that, it will mean that somebody else made somebody else it, right? We're not going there because it came here. So I thought it's best that if you keep getting these kind of small points, hopefully, inshallah, you'll be able to remember these things. Because my understanding is, sisters, any topic you are learning, and if there are some stories attached to that, some examples attached to that, which are may or may not directly related to that, it will help you, inshallah, to retain that information. So I hope all of these things, when you will come to this word while you're doing revision, perhaps my voice will be there in your head. Oh, this is alif, sin, and ta, and this is used for that purpose. So this will just add one more node of memory in your mind. Jazakallahu khairan. May Allah reward you with the best. So then Al Mudir is saying, Ila liqai. We have seen this word before. Until we meet again. Sahibatka salamatu fil halli wa tarhali. May the peace accompany you while you stay here or in the journey, or it's usloob. What is usloob? Usloob means it's an expression. So like in English, you say rain and shine. So what's the meaning of rain and shine? Is there any meaning? Rain means rain, shine means shine, but it means in any situation, in every situation. So likewise, in everything you do. So fil halli wa tarhali, in any situation, you stay here or you go. So however you are, wherever you are, may peace accompany you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And may the peace be upon you and Allah's mercy. So that's the end of the chapter. Now the chapter was short. Chapter introduced few things. In when we do the exercises, we will see more details about that, and we will see even more concepts coming. So please tighten your belts. Ajib anil as'alatil atiya. Answer the following questions. So what are the questions? Now it was man. The kasra is coming here because there was a sukoon and then there was this lam here. So two sukoons were meeting. To resolve this iltiqai sakinain, we put kasra here. Man is zairu. What's the meaning of man is zairu? Who was the visitor? Or who is the visitor? Because if you see, if you look at it, a zairu means a visitor. This man means who. Why is it said was, not is? It is context, right? Masmuhu, what was his name? Once again, Masmuhu could also mean what is his name, but you see, it's the context. Lima zar al mahada, why did he visit the institute? So the visitor was a lecturer. الزائر محاضر في مهد اللغة العربية بلاهور, in the Institution of Arabic Language in Lahore or at Lahore. اسمه مهدي ibn Abdul Hadi. His name was Mahdi, son of Abdul Hadi. And why did he come? So the answer is زار المعهد ليطلع على مناهجه وكتبه. He visited the institute to familiarize with its curriculum and its books. This lam is lam ta'lil, and this is the reason that this verb is becoming here mansub. And the second is atuba'u kutubul mahadi, are books of institute sold. من أين يمكن الحصول عليها, from where it is possible to obtain them. Now somebody may say, why ala is coming here? It was it not right to say husuluha? You could say husuluha, right? In many situations, when you want to attach mafulun bihi to the verb, so you simply add the appropriate pronoun and you could say. But the thing is, the verb hasala usually will come with the harf jar ala. Hasala ala. So hasala, to give its proper meaning, it will always be hasala ala. Remember that. There are some verbs which will have some of the harf jar coming. Like we have done one for the search. What's the Arabic word for search? Can anybody write, please? Write in English, no problem if you can't write in Arabic. And what is the harf jar used with that? Very good. Bahatha an. So bahatha an. So bahatha comes with an. Searched about. It's not just searched or searched for, but it can't just come as bahatha. Very good. So moving forward, لا تباع كتب المعهد. The books of the institute are not sold. يمكن الحصول عليها من مركز شؤون الدعوة. It is possible to obtain them from the center of invitational affairs. And then here comes what we have seen before. As I told you, we will see in more detail, and inshallah, even more detail will come. So if you look at these verbs, ponder over the examples of ajwa verbs built for passive voice, then complete the incomplete. So now you have active verb here. قال باع ساق زار زاد خاف. So in the lesson we have seen ismul fa'il and ismul maf'ul when they are formed on weak verbs. Now today we will see this as well alongside, that if weak verb is coming, how will you make the passive? Because this at the top is the sound word daraba, What do you do with daraba? You put dhamma on the first letter and kasara on the second last letter and leave the third letter as it was. So daraba will become duriba. Sami'a will become sumi'a. Kataba will become kutiba. Qatala will become qutila. I'm sure everybody, all of you know that. I don't really need to repeat over and over again, right? So daraba has become duriba. Dad has got a dhamma, a ra has got a kasra, and ba has got a fatha. So he hit became he was it. But what is happening in qala? Shall I try to do the qala on the same pattern? Daraba, so duriba. So I say qaf with the dhamma, and then alif is there. I'm stuck. Alif doesn't accept any haraka. What am I going to do? So now I'm stuck with qal. I don't know what to do. So what's the solution? What is happening? What's happening is originally, what was the original word for qala? Qawala. We know that qala was qawala. So now when you had the word qawala, we'll see more detail. I'm just going to give you right now in a verbal sense, and then inshallah we'll see the writing. So let's say it was daraba, replace it with qala, and now it was originally qawala. We know that alif is never asl, as we have seen here. Why am I saying qawala? Because we have already seen that when the verb is having a weak letter, in the middle, if it is ajwaf, and otherwise as well, if madi has got a alif, then it is not going to be the asl. Asl will be either ya or it will be waw. And how do we find? We can find it in two places. Either we can find it in the mudare or we can find it in the masdar, which is verbal noun. I know a lot of things are coming, sisters, but we have been talking about these things in past, so you should not be really surprised. It's nothing new. However, let me tell you one thing to reassure you. I hope, Bismillah Ta'ala, when you will end this level, you will be strong in all of what you are studying. So please don't let shaitan whisper in your mind, enough, 2 books I've done and 4 chapters of book 3, I can just quit. Yes, you can, but who is losing? You are losing. Who is going to win? Shaitan is going to win. I hope you don't want shaitan to win over you. So coming back to this one, even if you find things are coming a little bit more detailed, don't worry about it. We will do the exercises. We will do a lot and lot of exercises. But now just let me talk here without sending any message that I don't understand or, oh, this is difficult. So qala, now look at the mudare. Here it is the mudare given. We said alif is never asl. It's either waw or ya. When we looked at the mudare, we found it's waw. So it means qala is qawala. So every time, whatever you want to do, you want to make ismul fa'il, ismul maf'ul, you want to make the verb into passive, you look at the original letters. This qala, this alif is good for the purpose of madi, but it's not good for other purposes. When you want to derive something of that, when you want to make something else out of this verb, then you should ideally look at the original words. Original word was wow. Now simply put wow in place of alif. When you will put wow, basically, let's say daraba, instead of daraba, write qaf, wow, and lam. What is it now? Qawala. Qaf with the fatha, wow with the fatha, lam with the fatha. What shall you do now? You have to change, first of all, first letter into dhamma. But before you do that, you look at wow and you find that wow has got a fatha. Wow cannot accept fatha. It's the ya which accepts kasara, because you have to bring kasara here on the second letter. So you are in confusion what to do. So what you do is, so your qaf here, which was dad in this case, you put dhamma. So you put dhamma on the qaf, so it becomes qu. Now wow had a kasra, so you have already changed it into ya, right? So that it's easy on the tongue. Otherwise, it become qawila. Qawila is difficult. As I said to you earlier, it may not be difficult for me and you, but for those who speak this language, the native speakers, the Arabs, they have it difficult. So they made it easy. So what did they do? When they saw qawala, they changed the waw into ya, because to make it passive, the second letter had to have the kasra. So they made it quvila. Now quvila is not suitable. You can't have kasra under the waw as well. So what do? You change that into ya, because once again, Qawala was the original word like daraba. You need on the pattern of duriba. So what do? You put dhamma on the qaf, and because you want to put a kasra, because this is the pattern of ismul, sorry, it's passive verb. So you can't put kasra under waw. So because kasra goes with ya, so you change waw into ya. Now, when you change waw into ya, another problem happened. Your waw and ya problem is sorted, but now when you have a ya, which is the haraka before ya, sisters? Kasra. We've always seen ya, whenever ya will come, there'll be kasra before that. So now you cannot have dhamma on the qaf and then ya coming with next to it as with the kasra. So naturally you have to change this qaf with the dhamma into kasra. So become qila. Qila. I hope it is clear. So qala became qila. Once again, if you want to make it easy, there is another way to that. Simply memorize these things. So when every time there's an alif coming here, so it's going to be qila, ba is bi'a, saqa is siqa, zara is zira, zada is zida, khafa is khifa. There is a possibility of little change, but then those verbs are little lesser. So if you're to summarize this lesson, if your passive verb is having ajwaf, so basically it has got a weak letter, qala, then your passive will become qila. Your active is ba'a, your passive will become bi'a. Your active is saqa, your passive will become siqa. Zara will become zira. Zada will become zida. Khafa will become khifa. So this was for Madi. What about Mudari? You have this active verb yaqulu. Now yaqulu, all letters are correct here because the wow which was not available in the madi, in mudare it came back. So now you have yaqulu. Now you just have to use the pattern for passive verb in mudare. What's the pattern? Pattern is given here. Originally it was yafhamu. Ya had got a fatha, second letter sukun, third letter has got a fatha, and the last letter dhamma. But when you make passive, what do? You add dhamma on the first letter and you have fatha on the third letter. If it is already there, then there's no issue. But if there is kasra on the third letter, you change it into fatha. So this is how your harakat should be. First letter dhamma, then sukun, then fatha, then sukun. So come here to yaqulu. If you put yaqulu and put these harakat, what will it become? Yuqwalu. Now waw is coming with the fatha, and waw will not take fatha. There are other sarf rules for that, but I'm not going to go into that. That if there's a fatha and ma qabli fatha is this, then do this and do that. We are not going into that. Simply understand when you put it onto the pattern, it became what? Yuqwalu. So waw had a fatha. So you change waw into alif because alif is more suitable to be in this situation. So yaqulu will become yuqalu, yabi'u become yuba'u, yasuqu, which meant he drives, become yusaqu, it is driven. Yazuru, he visits, become yuzaru, it is visited. Yazidu, which is zada yazidu, yazidu, he increases, became yuzadu, it is increased. He fears, yakhafu. How it will become it is feared? Yukhafu. So now, please, sisters, have a look at one more thing and then we will move. So if you look at these ones here, qala, what is the passive? Qila. Yaqulu is the mudare. What's the passive? Yuqalu. Ba'a is the active. What is the passive? Bi'a. What's the mudare? Yabi'u. What's the passive? Yuba'u. So I hope you were able to understand one thing if you have paid attention. Whether you had wow in your mudare or you had ya in your mudare in case of this yabi'u. Yabi'u is ya actually. So ba'a yabi'u. So we can say that the alif in the ba'a is actually ya, and we found that out when we went to mudare. In the case of qala, the mudare is yaqulu. So we know that the actual letter is not alif, rather it is waw. But have you noticed one thing? And that's the easy part. And that's the part, if you remember, then you don't need to remember anything else for now. It is that whether there is a ya in the mudare or waw, in active I'm talking about, In the passive, you are just bringing alif in both cases. So just remember it like that. If you don't want to go through any process, any steps, look, yuba'u, yuqalu. Yuba'u has the original mudare in the active as yabi'u. There was a ya change into alif. Yaqulu, there was a waw change into alif. Yuqalu. So how do we once again summarize that? We simply summarize that this past tense passive and present tense passive, if it is qala, just memorize it. Its passive is qila, ba'a, bi'a. Just memorize it. And with this information, these little tools, especially in this case of mudare, that you always have alif coming as the second last letter in the passive verb. If your original verb is ajwaf, you don't really need to worry about that what was the original letter. If you remember, in the previous slide, we were talking about we need to know the original letter, but that was for ismul fa'il and ismul maf'ul, because over there the requirement was different. Over here, when you are making the passive for the madi, you will go on the pattern of qila, bi'a, siqa, zira. So every time you see ya is coming here. And in mudare, it's always alif is coming here. Yuqalu, yuba'u, yusaqu, yuzaru, yuzadu, yukhafu. But having said that, it doesn't mean that the things will not change. They will, but for now, I think it is enough. If we at least can get some kind of understanding of that, if we can memorize these words, then things will become very easy. And let me give you one good news, sisters. And I know you need that right now, especially after this dose of the class. When we've done Laisa long time ago, there were so many twists in Laisa. Laisa will become Lust2 and Laisa will become Lust9. We were thinking, where is the Ya gone? What did I tell you at that time? I've requested you, sisters, forget about what is happening to Laisa. Just remember it will Ya will be deleted after a certain point. So just delete the Ya and just memorize the conjugation. Even going before that, when we have done the fi'l madi first time, dhahaba, we did not know much about this waw is wawul jama and this noon has got particular name and this ta is ta'ul fa'il. We didn't know any of that. We just memorized dhahaba, dhahaba, dhahabu, dhahaba, dhahaba, dhahabna, and that's it. We just memorized those 14 and we built the base upon that. Once we memorized it, then whatever information was coming, we were getting, we were absorbing some and we were not absorbing some. But it was okay because at least something was getting in our mind. So little by little, when you reach up to this point, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, all those things are like breeze to you. You don't think about the conjugation of dhahaba or kharaja. You know it. By heart, you know it. You don't even have to think about it. Believe me, this will become the same. Just don't just don't feel that, oh, it's too much and you can't do it. So with this, if it is nothing else, I think we best end the class today because I know things were a little bit tough and they take time. But the thing is, these things are included in the book. I have no choice but to go through that. If I had the choice, I would have perhaps taken you to all the grammatical things so that you are done with the nahwa, and then maybe for the surf we could have had another course. And in that course you would know that we will have a 20 minutes class only, and you will just take few things in 20 minutes and you will go, because the books of the surf are very thin, the books of the nahwa are very big, because surf is like mathematics in many cases. So this formula and then the book finishes. So you can have even smaller classes and you can have shorter classes with less number, and you can still do that, but it requires you to memorize a lot. Whereas Nahwa, grammar, it's very easy. Both are easy, but comparatively, Nahwa has got a different side to it where you have to understand the concept. And once you understood the concept, that's it. In Surf, the best thing is that you memorize and you also understand. But if you memorize it, you're done with that. You don't really need to understand it if you have memorized it. Nahwa is opposite. If you have understood it, you don't need to memorize it. But there's no way you can just memorize the nahwa. Nahwa, grammar, you really need to understand it. Whereas surf, you can simply live by memorizing it, and that's all. If you will understand, you will feel happy and you will see why certain things are happening, which otherwise you may not. But it's all khair. Don't worry about that. Lessons will become very easy like they were for last few lessons. Upcoming lessons, inshallah, things will become more easy. And this is the reason when somebody, some of you or some of us were thinking when these verbs were introduced, that why do we even need to know if the verb is the sound word or the weak sound verb or the weak verb? This is the reason to know. This is the reason to know, because if we did not know that, we would have made mistakes in here. Yeah, but now, Alhamdulillah, we understand what is ajwaf, so we can isolate the verbs, saying this is ajwaf, so ismul fa'il will be made like that, ismul maf'ul will be made like that, passive verb will be made like this, present tense passive verb will be made like this. We will not mix up with the sound verbs. So, with this, inshallah, sisters, we will end the class. Jazakumullah khair for coming. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.